24 February 2023. This is South Africa. This is the new South Africa, which is presented to you by the ANC government. The sound of generators. We are currently in stage 6, load shedding. We drew the lucky straw today, where we now have for 4 hours in this session we have no power. But it started earlier. On some days we sit without power for 10 to 12 hours. It is killing the economy. Where is this problem coming from? Is it purely an Eskom problem, or is it a government problem? My opinion is that Eskom is a government entity. It's a state-owned entity. Therefore, everything that happens in Eskom is a government issue. Andre de Ruyter has now resigned, and he has, in interviews, brought forth a lot of information about corruption and crime syndicates and problems in Eskom, which the government is aware of, but the government is not addressing. I do apologize for the sound. It is one of those things we have to live with in South Africa. I'm not only a photographer, I'm also a content creator. And people very easily say that when there's load shedding, just get a generator. But a generator makes a noise. And when you are into content creating as I am, the generator just doesn't work because of the noise. So people will say, get solar panels. I can't afford solar panels. Very few people can actually afford full solar systems. They are expensive. And if you are one of those fortunate people that can afford it, remember that there are a lot of people downwards that cannot afford it. I'm one of those people. I can't afford a solar system. I'm actually one of the fortunate people that can afford an inverter system. Battery backup. Fairly large one that I can actually run my whole studio. I can run my PC, TVs, lighting, the works. But content creation, which is a very important part of my everyday thing, is interrupted during load shedding, even though I have an inverter. These generators out here make so much noise, it is impossible to create videos. You have to listen to this noise the whole time. Yes, I'm outside here on purpose because I want to show you how loud it is, but it doesn't matter if I go inside. I am so close to this large business generator, there's no way for me to isolate any room in my house from the sound. And it's disturbing because these generators run at night as well. So you have to get used to it. Your body kind of gets used to it, but you feel it the next morning because your brain doesn't completely switch off. But this is the new South Africa we are living in. A new South Africa brought to us by the ANC. So what's the solution? Well, I can give you the very simple solution. We need to return the country to people who know how to run a country. And immediately I know what you're thinking. Oh, but you're being racist because you want to return it to the white people. No, I don't want to return it to the white people. I want to return the country to people who know how to run a country. It's got nothing to do with color. Educated people, people who care about the citizens of the country. That is the people I want to return the country to. People who run the country like a business. Because remember, any country is basically a business. Albeit with a very large HR department, it is a business and needs to be run like a business. If you had to have a business, let's say you have a basic retail business, and you had to run it the way the ANC runs it, all your stock will be stolen every month. Your building will fall apart because there's no maintenance being done. And your managers running your business are stealing more from your business than your business is bringing in. That is the ANC. Our problem in this country is the ANC, and solving it is getting rid of the ANC. And how do we get rid of the ANC? We have to educate the lower end of the population, the people in the rural areas who are holding on to the belief that the ANC are their liberators. The ANC are not their liberators. The ANC have become their dominators. The ANC doesn't care about the people, and this message needs to get out to those rural communities where they build a gravel road and build a couple of houses very shoddily. Some of these RDP houses falling apart, and they put in some water pipes and bring them free electricity that taxpayers have to pay for just to keep them on their side. The ANC does not care about the working class or the upper class. The ANC only cares about their voters, and their voters are those people out there in the rural areas who are very low on the income scale. And those are the only people that they are trying to keep happy by giving them just enough. The taxpayer group is shrinking. A lot of the affluent people, those with money and skill, are leaving the country in droves. More than 6,000 people left the country last year. And believe me, it's not a cheap process to leave the country. Immigration is very expensive. I have family that have immigrated, and they've told me how expensive it is to immigrate. And it's not just about taking money out of the country, it's skill. You can't just leave the country. People say, oh, just leave the country. If you don't have the correct skill and you don't have money, you can't just leave the country. And leaving the country leaves people behind. And who gets left behind? Our skill level is dropping in the country. Our I wouldn't say our intelligence level, but our intellectual property is leaving the country in droves. Our entrepreneurs, the big people. And people would say, but there's new entrepreneurs. Yes, they are tenderpreneurs, not entrepreneurs. They are there while the money from the ANC funds their often corrupt organization. Then they retire with the millions that they've made. They build themselves a house in a settlement somewhere where they don't even have a building plan, and they retire. And they don't care about the people who worked for them, because they only employ those people as long as the contract lasts. Believe me, I've been to settlements where people sit and they do security work, and they told me, but I used to work for this company and it was only for a 6-month contract, and then the contract was finished and now it's just without work. I did learn some skill. I learned to lay pipes, or I did some electrical work or some other work which brought their skill level up a little bit, but not enough to find other work, because no other work exists, because there's no other entrepreneurs employing people. And this is the South Africa this country is descending into. We are descending into a disaster, a state of disaster, much like Zimbabwe. How long do you think it's going to take for Zimbabwe to recover? Zimbabwe destroyed their own country by a political process, and that same political process, albeit slightly different, but it's the same political process, is being enforced on South Africa, where skill is being chased out of the country, and the lower class is becoming the bigger majority class in the country. South Africa is becoming a low class, unskilled country. The solution is to get rid of the ANC. The ANC needs to get out of this country. The ANC should not even be allowed to take part in the next election, because they have proven from day one that they have no idea how to run a country. They have no idea how to do proper maintenance on a country. The ANC is the cause of the problem in this country. The ANC is the cause of load shedding. The ANC is the cause of the failure of every state-owned entity out there. Changed my mind on that one. Don't you just love the sound of a generator in the morning? And the smell of diesel and petrol?